Well, this is Baruch Fleischman here, your very own Saba at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, looking at the Zohar Parshas VAYIGAsh, continuing on with what we learned yesterday, the place we were at before with these two rabbis, who are Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda. Let me see if I got that right. Yeah. They met at an inn. They saw a man who was driving a donkey going to a house. And they began to talk about King David and how little he slept. And so they got to the idea that actually 60 breaths is considered to be sleep. What that means exactly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're going to get it here. Let's see what we can understand from the Zohar. Here's the next part. The Hochi, so up to that part, and now he says now, suddenly, or let's say it appeared. Amar Halko Barnash, that man that they were talking about with the donkey. So this thing that you were talking about, that is, you were talking about King David, he says this is what it's all about. Raza the Mila Hocha, there's a secret over here in this. The David Malcha Chai V'Kayim Olam Olam Elomin, because the King David, he is alive. He's alive and sustains himself forever and ever. The David Malcha Chavinater called Yumoy Dolor Yatam Tam Musa. And what it was about David HaMelech was that he Noter called Yumoy, he guarded all the days of his life, the Lo Yatam Tam Misa, that he should not taste the taste of death. Begin the Shinsa Chad Mishitin B'Miza, because what? That sleep is 1/60th of death. So therefore he stayed away from sleep. But David begin duchte de ihu chai. But David, because of, in his case, that he was alive. He wanted to live, and he wanted his spirit to live. Lo chavim noim elishiti nishma. He only would sleep 60 breaths. 60 breaths. The adshiti nishmin chaser chad ihu chai. Because until he was 60, in other words, if that's 59, he was the ad shitin nishmei chaser chad, so that's 59. Ihu chai, he was alive. Mitaman v'lahala, but then after that part, in other words, 59/60ths, v'lahala talking barnash time of the Musa. So from here, but he says what he wants to say. It's not what I was going to go. He said mitaman, for this fact that we understand that he avoided sleep as much as possible. V'lahalan going on. Tayim barnash tamid the most of the man begins to taste the taste of death. V'shalad beit sitru de ruach misa'ava, and what can be controlled or take control of him, the side of ruach misa'ava, a ruach of tuma. Now that's a big, coming back to a ruach tuma, so that if when a person is dead, there is a complete ruach of nothing but tuma. So in order to avoid and to make himself pure and to keep his purity, so to speak, he avoided even the the smallest amount, 59/60ths of sleep, of 60 parts of sleep, 60 breaths. Okay, let's see what the Matak Midavash thinks about this. Let's see if we can get it on the page there. There it is. Now, I have seen this before because I got it marked up a little bit. I don't know from what, but let's see what happens. Here it says, that is, so in the midst of what they were saying, this man that they were just watching, he spoke up. This word that you're talking about, let me tell you what it's really all about. Well, its simple meaning is like you said, it is considered to be significant. How about that? A significant amount of time. In other words, we consider it sleep. So know this. There's something secret hidden inside of this. But they're talking about this 60 breaths. So what are we talking about? David Malka Chai V'Kayim La'olam Olame Olomim. Ki David the Melech Hoya Chai, he was alive, V'Kayim, and still alive, La'olam Olame Olomim, forever and ever, Lefi, Shel Hoya Tamid Achos B'tzad the Kedusha, because he always held to the side of Kedusha, V'Chachayim, which is where life is found, and life. V'David Malka Chavadna'atecha B'Kol Yomai D'Lo Yitam Tam Misa, so that David would work his whole life, so that he shouldn't taste the taste of death. V'David the Melech HaYanisham B'Kol Yomai Shelo Yitam Tam Misa Al Yedecha B'Shina, that comes from sleep. Begin the Shinsa Chachad B'Shitin B'Misa Ihu, because the Shashina say that is sleep is on 1/60th of death. So let's see, he slept 59/60ths. Let's see what if I got this right. I don't know. He said David begin duch de ihu chai David b'shvil makomo, because of his place, for shorsha, which he is the root. For shorsha b'malchus, he is rooted in malchus. The malchus, which malchus? The malchus, the chatzida, the kedusha. Shehi besod hachayim, which is where life flows from. Ki tachtecha, because below the malchus of Etzilus, maschilus madregos samisach v'chaklipa, this is where you be defined, as is in our world of Asiya, that you have false ideas, false emotions, and death. Lo chavanoim el deshiti nishmin. V'chein lo hoy yoshan el shishim nishimos pachos nishima achat, one less than 60 breaths. Shuhusod sheish shalos rishonos shal halayla, which these 60 breaths are the same thing as the secret of the 6 hours, the first 6 hours of the night. This corresponds then to the upper half. V'chatov shall klipas noga. Now let's go back to this again and read this idea again, because I think there's some Kabbalah here that I don't really know. He said, Lo chavanoim al shitin nishmin. So you only would sleep to 60 breaths. L'chein lo hoya yashim al shishin nishimos pachos nishima achas. Shehu sod sheish shalos rishona shalalayla, which also corresponds to another secret, which is the first 6 hours of the night. Now we know that 6 goes with a concept like a zero anpin, or the lower 6 spheros, like this. Shehu keneged chetzi ha'elyon v'chatov shal klipas noga, and this corresponds, keneged is opposite this, is the upper half of the klipas noga, which is called in other places the eitz hatov v'roa. So he said chetzi ha'elyon, the upper top v'chatov shal klipas noga. So this is a little bit hard for me to understand. Let me read it again. So he says that, say that sheish shalos rishonos shal halayla. So all of this, we put these 6s together. So the 6 breaths somehow correspond to the 6 earlier hours of the night. So the 6 earlier hours correspond to Hetzia Elyon v'chatov shal klipas noga. I guess opposite it is this. So what is the klipas noga? The klipas noga is a transfer spot between truth and falseness. So the upper part of it is true. It's like the Jewish expression that a lie without truth can't stand. So you have to have a little truth in there. So the top part is true. So that makes it possible for escaping goodness to get out of the darkness and come into Kedusha. That's possible. That's us. But on the other hand, the lower part of it is black. V'atov shal klipas noga, the good part. Umisha yashem bechem, so a person who's sleeping during that time is sleeping through the best part of the klipas noga. Hein harbe, whether you sleep a lot during that time or a little bit. Osach hashina nikrush shisin nishmin chaser chad. That whole period is called by this name. It's called by the name 60 breaths less 1, 59 breaths. I don't know, he doesn't say 59. He wants to say it's called by this name. Shitin Nishmin Chaserchat. What is that? Misha Yasha Bechem. So this person who's sleeping in the first 6 hours. He said, Heim Harbe Osachashina Nikru Shitin Nishmin Chaserchat. That's what that's called that time. Because I guess he's just corresponding. I'm looking in the wrong place in my mind. They said that maybe it's just corresponding this to that period of time. Let's say the ad shiti nishme chaser chad ihu chai, because up until that part there's just it's just life. It sounds like it's just kedusha. Ki hayashin ad shishim nishimos chaser nishima achas hu bebechinas chai shehu hakedusha, which is kedusha. The time in the hall, but after you sleep more than 60 breaths, wow, look at this. That is that when he allows that moment to go by, go past the dot, which is Chatzos Alayla, Velonis Ora Mishinaso, and he doesn't wake up at that time. Time Barnash, time of the Bosa. That's when the black part of the night comes in. That's why I think he's saying like that. In other words, the black part of the Klipas Noga, that is the Eitz HaTov, is on the top, and so that period of time is the time for sleeping. But after that, then it switches back, and the darker force takes over. Toima Adam Tam Misa, person gets a taste of death. The Shalit Beis Sitrach, the Rucham is Avach, and then he becomes controlled by an unclean force. That would be the Ruach, the spirit of which is Misoev, which is Tomei. The shoulder to love, and it can control of him. Had sad shal ruach hatuma, that is this side which is the ruach hatuma, the hind of kochos aklipos. Ki ad yedei zeru yored bechetzi amral shal klipa noga, because through this, who yored bechetzi amral, he goes into the other side. That is, that's what we were saying. He goes into the other side, which is evil, which is black. Of the Klipas Noga, because the Klipas Noga has 2 parts. Okay, that's a little limit over there. Think about this limit. I'll think about this limit. This is Baruch Fleischman, your very own Saba here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.